We invited the European Commission to propose additional measures to better support Ukrainian energy security. Member States also agreed to reach out to third countries to secure repair equipment and increase gas deliveries to Ukraine. On Shadow Fleet, Moscow's Shadow Fleet funds Russia's war and acts as a launchpad for hybrid attacks. Today, ministers discussed more robust response, including more powers to board Shadow Fleet vessels. I've also designated a special envoy, coordinator, to gather best practices from different member states across the Union, and also to really be acting more swiftly on these points. To further cut Russian war funds, we need more robust EU-wide approach against the Shadow Fleet. Then on accountability, last week in Kiev we announced 10 million euros to launch the special tribunal for the crimes of aggression. Today, 25 member states committed to becoming parties to this tribunal. This brings us one step closer to operationalize the tribunal. Of course, we are waiting for all the cost estimates also from the Netherlands, and then we can move forward. Putin's regime started this war and must face also the consequences. Ministers also adopted conclusions on the Indo-Pacific. This region is a key partner to the European Union. Together, we account for over 70% of global trade in goods and services. Next month, we will host the Indo-Pacific Ministerial Forum in Brussels, which will bring together some 80 delegations, making it one of the largest diplomatic gatherings in Europe this year. This reflects our commitment to closer cooperation with partners on trade, technology and security. Beijing's latest movements to weaponize global supply chains are a direct threat to global trade and the European Union industrial base. China's actions make it even clearer the case for deeper cooperation with our partners, and this is very clear for everybody. Then on the Middle East, the ceasefire in Gaza has just faced its first major stress test. Hamas attacks on Palestinian civilians and its refusal to disarm make the ceasefire increasingly fragile. The EU is the largest financial backer of the Palestinian Authority and Gaza's biggest humanitarian donor. Our border assistance mission stands ready to deploy. Today, ministers discussed how the European Union can put its full weight behind the peace plan, including by providing additional governance and reconstruction support. Ministers also addressed the European Commission's measures regarding Israel. The ceasefire has changed the context, that is very clear for everybody. However, unless we see real and sustained change on the ground, including more aid reaching Gaza, the threat of sanctions remains on the table. Then Moldova, recent election results show a strong support for the European future, but they also highlight the need for improving how the elections are monitored. Today we shared the lessons learned, and also we agreed to launch an initiative aimed at further modernizing the election observation methods to take into account the people are living their lives online. Social media, online content must feature even more when assessing whether elections were transparent and inclusive. On Georgia, ministers were very clear on the rule of law and human rights situation, that it continues to deteriorate in Georgia. Personal attacks against European ambassadors are unacceptable and have no place in diplomacy. Commission will present its visa suspension mechanism report later this year. With the new regulation on visas entering into force in November, this will give us the opportunities to cancel visa-free regime for some groups. And later today, we will meet the ministers from the Black Sea region and Central Asia. Russia's military buildup, its shadow fleet, sea mines, GPS jamming affect us all. We need a collective push to improve security in the Black Sea, and we will discuss this together. We will also meet for the first time in the format with the ministers from Central Asia to discuss connectivity. I want this to become a regular occurrence. It will help us stay on top of the work on transport, on energy, digital sectors, again, to build our partnership all across the world. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll start with the questions.
There's no mic.
Okay, maybe give the mic, no?
We could just pass it around.
Just throw the mic.
It's just that I missed my notebook, so I was trying to signal my team to get my notebook, so thank you.
It won't be very hard.
Yeah, no.
Olivier Beau from AFP. Just after what happened again in the Oval Office in Washington between Donald Trump and President Zelensky, would you say that Ukraine should give up the rest of the Donbass to get a deal with Russia? Is that the only solution? Is there anything we can do to prevent that, if it's the only solution? And on the shadow fleet, could you be a bit more specific on what the EU could do more to counter this circumvention?
Thank you. What we must not forget is that Russia is the aggressor and Ukraine is the victim here. So putting the pressure on Ukraine as the victim is not the right approach. And not only for Ukraine, but also for European security and the global security. Because if aggression pays off, it serves as an invitation to use it elsewhere as well. And that's why we have been really on the course and very clear in our strategy. Putting pressure on Russia will end this war. They can end this war immediately because they are, bombing the civilian infrastructure. 93% of Russian attacks have been on civilians, which is against all the international rules. So if we just give in so that Russia gets what they want, then we will see more of this. We have seen this already in history several times. So our approach is clear. We also discussed this with the ministers today. Our approach is clear: to help Ukraine to defend itself and also pressure Russia to stop this war. We are doing this with the sanctions to putting the pressure there. Thank you. Oh yes. Oh, sorry. On the shadow fleet. Yes, you had a. So we asked all the best practices and all what member states are doing on shadow fleet, and put together a paper to coordinate really how we can use all these best practices to address the shadow fleet, which is that of course we are doing the sanctions, but also how we do the outreach to the third countries, the flag states, how we also use the tools that are in the international law regarding boarding the ships and really investigating what they are doing. We are also doing the international coordination when it comes to G7 or the the task force we have in place, also the operations that we have already in maritime field, like UNAFOR Med Irini and Aspides and Atalanta, the missions that we can also use in this regard, or look into their mandates. We can't use them now, but look into their mandates, how we can really use them in the future. So basically, we have also appointed a coordinator to really coordinate with the member states in the External Action Service, and this is to be really effective, because the Russians are very creative in this regard, and we have to be as well to address all these issues. So to bring it and be more effective and more also faster in this case.
Thank you, Susana Freixas, SIC Portugal. A follow-up question on my colleague's first question. Very concretely, when you say that you welcome President Trump's efforts, my concrete question is, do you still believe peace in Ukraine is possible without territorial concessions? So very concrete question. And if I may, on the 19th package, what is actually preventing it or avoiding it or preventing it to be done? And if you think it's possible to finalize it before the meeting in